All right, so for section 1.3, we're going to be doing two types of division with polynomials. The first one we're going to do is where you take a polynomial and you divide it by the monomial. So when you have a polynomial, right, so lots of terms divided by a monomial, which is just one term, you're just going to apply your quotient rule for exponents to each one of these. So we're going to divide each term of our polynomial on top by 2x. So you don't always have to write it like this, but especially when I first teach it and while you get the hang of it, I always separate it out so you can see what that looks like. Right, so it looks like this. We're just going to be dividing each term by our polynomial, and in between I just put whatever signs were here. So now we're going to divide each of these. So first we have 16 divided by 2 is 8. And then x to the fourth divided by x to the first is x to the third. Remember, we subtract our exponents. And then we have 8x to the third divided by 2x. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. X to the third divided by x to the first is x squared. And then we have 12 divided by 2 is 6. X squared divided by x is x. So then this is our answer. Okay, and the next method we're going to learn is polynomial long division. Right, so if you thought your days of long division were over, think again. So let's see what an example of that would look like. Okay, so this is the example that's on page 17 in your book. So it says divide 6x cubed minus 3x plus 13x squared minus 4 by 2x plus 1. So to set up our problem, whatever we're dividing by is going to go on the outside. So we have 2x plus 1, right? And then we've got our nice long division symbol here. Then this part is going to go inside. But we need to make sure that we write it in descending order of exponents. So our 6x to the third is first, right? But then we need to have our 13x squared next. Then our minus 3x, then our minus 4. So you switch the order, make sure you keep the sign with the number, right? So I kept my negative with my 3, kept my positive with my 13. So before you start, you have to make sure that both inside and outside you've got descending order of exponents. So we have x to the third, x squared, x, no x. Right here we've got an x and no x. All right, so our first step is we're going to take 6x to the third and divide it by 2x. So for right now, we're going to ignore our plus 1. So I'm going to kind of go over to the side here. So we've got 6x to the third divided by 2x. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. X to the third divided by x is x squared. So 3x squared is going to go here. Now we're going to take that 3x squared and we're going to multiply it by the entire thing. So now we're kind of bringing our 1 back. So we know that 3x squared times 2x is going to be 6x to the third. And then 3x squared times 1 is 3x squared. Now, just like we do in regular long division, we're going to subtract. So you have to subtract this entire polynomial, right? So if you remember back in 1.2 when we subtracted polynomials, right, we changed the sign of both terms inside. So 6x cubed minus 6x cubed is 0, so those cancel. And then you have 13 minus 3. So you've got to remember to bring this minus sign over. So 13 minus 3 is going to be 10x squared, and then you bring down your minus 3x. All right, now we're going to repeat our process. So you've got, we're going to take our 10x squared and divide it by our 2x. Right, so we're going to take what we have here, divide it by the 2x in front. So you're always going to divide by whatever term you have first. So 10x squared divided by 2x is 5x. So we're going to do a plus 5x here. Now we're going to take our 5x and multiply it by everything in front. So 5x times 2x is 10x squared. Right, and then 5x times 1 is a positive 5x. Right, and remember, we're subtracting. So 10 minus 10 cancels. Right, negative 3 minus 5 is negative 8x. So it is really important that you pay attention to your signs. Right, we've got a negative 3, and then we're subtracting 5. So negative 3 minus 5 is negative 8. Okay, and then now we're going to bring down our minus 4. And then finally, we're going to take our 2x and divide it into our negative 8x. So over here, let's do negative 8x divided by, let me get a different color so we don't get confused. Let's go with a purpley color. So negative 8x divided by 2x is negative 4. So we're going to put our negative 4 here. Now we're going to take negative 4 and multiply it by 2x plus 1. So negative 4 times 2x is negative 8x. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. And then when we subtract, those all cancel and we get 0. So we have no remainder. So our final answer is this. Right, so it's our 3x squared plus 5x minus 4. All right, so I know that's a lot of steps, but it really follows the same method of our traditional long division that you guys learned back in elementary school. But I still want to go through another example with you guys just so you hopefully feel more confident. All right, so let's work through this example. So we're going to take our 8x squared, divide it by our 4x. So we have 8x squared divided by 4x. Right, and you don't have to do it off to the side like this. If you feel confident to do it in your head, that is perfectly fine. I just like to give you guys that visual to go with. And it's perfectly okay if you want to write them all off to the side like that. Or even on a scratch piece of paper, if you have a little dry erase board with you, that's okay too. So, 8x squared divided by 4x is 2x. So that goes above our 8x squared. Now we take our 2x and multiply it by 4x plus 1 and write that underneath. So 2x times 4x is 8x squared. I'm going to get rid of these lines just so we don't get confused and try to divide anything there. Oh, well. There we go. It's not pretty, but it works. So 2x times 4x is 8x squared. 2x times 1 is 2x. And remember, we subtract all of this, so it's important to put those parentheses there so you remember to subtract everything. So your 8x squareds cancel. 6x minus 2x is 4x. Then we bring down our plus 3. So 4x divided by 4x is 1. So then we're going to multiply. So 1 times 4x is 4x. 1 times 1 is 1. So then we subtract. Those cancel. 3 minus 1 is 2. All right, so we're at a place now where we're going to have a remainder. So to write your remainders, what you do is you put plus, and then you're going to do 2 over 4x plus 1. All right, so if you get to a point where you don't have anything else to bring down and it doesn't subtract evenly to give you a 0, you take that number, put it on top of whatever you divide by, and just a plus sign. If it's a negative, you would put a minus. But that's how you write your remainders. Okay, so You all have an assignment today. You're going to be doing some of the division we did at the beginning with the monomials and some with the polynomials, right? Make sure that you put them in descending order. Before you start dividing. And if you have any questions, please reach out and let me know.